Hello and welcome. Today, I want to share how in 2020 I manifested a United States green card and how you can use the same principles I've used to manifest things that you like. Okay, this is a little bit of my personal story. You can choose to skip this part. This is 2019. I'm in my apartment in Canada. I'm standing in front of the mirror and talking to myself, partly silently. And what I'm telling myself is that I've got to face the reality that in the 20 plus years living here in Toronto, I have failed to find myself happy, to create, to build a place where I'm happy. No matter what I've tried, no matter what businesses I try to open, no matter what industries I worked, how many friends I made, I I was feeling unfulfilled, and I was feeling unfulfilled not a little bit here, a little bit there, but to be honest, I was very unhappy. And in the past, I was telling myself, this is, you need a little bit more time because I was also an immigrant in Canada and I thought I needed a little bit more time. What are you experiencing is conditioned by your personal circumstance, which was true. I had a lot of family issues and a lot of negative things that I experienced in Canada was conditioned by my personal situation. And I admit that. But I felt like there was more to that. I felt like there there must be something else for me. And I also don't want to sound like a snob because Canada is a good country. Toronto is a good place to live. I don't want to sound um, like two people that were feeling the air in the castle was a little bit heavy. I don't want to. I don't want to sound like that. Um, but at the same time, I admit I wasn't happy, and I've tried so hard. And I've done so much, but in return, I've gotten very little in terms of fulfillment. Yes, I was living in a global city, and I had access to a free healthcare, uh, to to education, not free education, but there were opportunities, there were employment opportunities, but I was not getting what I was looking for. And at that time, I said, I have I have been telling this to myself for way too many years. It's time for me to make a decision. And decision was I have to go, but I had no idea where to go. But I had to go. And what I did is I actually packed my bags. I rented out my place, and I rented my place for exactly six months. And this was end of 2019, early 2020. So by the time I made the decision, it was already right before COVID. But my initial thought was still it was 2019. So I pack my bags, I make a preparations, and I rent out my place. But I still don't have a plan. I don't know where to go. And what I decided I do, I wanted to go see my friend that was who was living a couple hours away from Toronto. And in the meantime, a friend of mine invited me to stay at their place for a couple weeks, and I've done that. So for about for a couple weeks, I was still in Toronto, but already in a different environment, already detached from my routine, already detached from my apartment, and And after a couple of weeks, I'm on a road. I go to see my friend a couple hours away from Toronto. And while on the way there, the report of COVID came, and the whole turbulence began. But I was already on my way to see a friend, and I carried on with my plan because that was my plan. I thought I'll stay there for couple more weeks, and from there I'll decide where I'm going. I already have my bags packed. For I can be away for a prolonged period of time. Anything else I need, I can get on the road. And I took bigger things into a storage in Toronto. And by the time I got to my friend, uh, and couple days in, and there was a lockdown, and I thought, what a perfect timing! I am away from a busy city right at a perfect time. Timing couldn't be more perfect, and I was already feeling like I'm under um, some kind of spiritual influence. I mean, not some kind of. I obviously was guided by spirit. I when I packed my bags, I already acted on faith, completely surrendered by higher powers because I had no idea what I was doing, and I did not know where I was going. What was meant to be a 2 week stay turned into a 3 month stay, or maybe even a little bit longer. But what a magical 3 months it was for me. It completely transformed my life. My routine changed completely. I used to living in a city. I was always distracted, even though I meditated daily, sometimes nightly and sometimes during the day as well. But I was constantly doing something. I was always engaged in something, constantly checking my emails, the subscriptions, the work. In my work, I needed to be um, always engaged, always making phone calls, making connections, meeting people, talking to people. But here in this created silence, I also deactivated social media. I don't remember if I deactivated everything entirely or just most of it. But still, the amount of space I created for myself was nothing like I've ever experienced before. All I did it was I'd do a light exercise, go for a walk, do some yoga, study, read, and contemplate. What is it that I really want? Where is it that I really would like to live? Who is it that I have become? And where is this place that matches my energy best? And I couldn't really tell. You know, with the manifestation, they tell you that you have to be specific. I was not specific. I was vague, but I was trying to narrow it down for myself. I like Europe. I like culture. I like history. I like walkable cities. I like a little bit of a more of a laid back lifestyle. I like 2 hour lunches. I enjoy it. I also like United States. I do enjoy the vibrancy, the diversity. Uh, there's a lot going on in the United States, and United States has a character, and I always liked it. So I started what I started doing in my during the day. I just laid down and imagined myself living in New York. How I would feel there. I imagined walking around and feeling myself in the city, and and when I was doing it, I didn't plan that it would be my. I wasn't trying to even manifest it. I was trying to identify what is it that I truly like. I was trying to feel how I feel in a place where I I'm not yet am in. Do you understand what I mean? I wasn't trying it because, oh, I watched the video how to manifest things and now I'm going to do that to manifest this thing. It's not what I was doing. I was genuinely trying to feel where I feel best. And after New York, I imagined myself in Florida. I imagined feeling a sand underneath my feet and asking myself, "Is this home? I feel like home here. This is home." And I imagined myself walking in LA and some other places. I just looked them up on YouTube. The cities that I've never been to, what it looks like, and I watched the videos and imagine myself in the scene, being there, walking around there, and I felt comfortable, and I felt happy, and I felt like yes, this is home. I feel this is home. I can feel at home there. I also imagine Europe. I also imagined walking the streets in Europe and getting coffee here, there, going to museums. And mostly I just imagine walking around. And that's how I spend the next couple of months. I don't know at what point. At one morning, I woke up with a thought that I need to play a green card lottery. The green card lottery that I always knew existed. It's a diversity visa lottery. And I was qualified to play in it by birth. I knew about it. I'm not going to say my whole life, but since my early 20s, maybe my teenage years, I knew about it. I've never played. I could have played 20 years ago. I didn't. And just this thought that crossed my mind. And the next draw wasn't it's just a couple weeks or a month. It was, now I have to check, but it was soon. It was coming up. I was so excited, and I knew it was providential. I knew that thought was providential, and that I have goosebumps right now. And I knew that that was for me. Before I played the lottery, I knew that I'm not playing a lottery. I'm getting a green card, and that's how it's gonna come to me. And a peace came to me. Uh, Now it was time to go back to Toronto because the borders were closed still, and the people who rented my place, their lease came to an end as well. And I was ready to go back home to Toronto, and I submitted. I submitted the application for this lottery, and how the lottery works. You submit a token, and the results come in about 6 months. And I already knew that I wanted. And following 6 months, I enjoyed my time in Toronto probably more than I have in a while. But I already was enjoying it in a very detached way. I knew that I am going to go soon. And this was this was early fall. I believe this was early September. I So when the time came, I opened the letter and it says congratulations. I was jumping up and down. I was running around my apartment. I knew, but it still was a precious moment for me. It was absolutely a precious moment for me, and I won it. And the winning green card lottery is still a process. You have to. You're not winning in a sense of lottery that, oh, it comes to you in the mail with the bow. No, you can go. No, you have to immigrate. This is basically a token that makes you eligible to immigrate. but you still have to go through process of immigration. That took me another year. It took me a full year. I called and messaged a couple of people to tell them that I won the lottery, and I'll make another video because what happens around me and people reaction. Some people were genuinely happy for me, but other people, the reaction was very strange, and I honestly I almost regret telling. I think it made my departure only more difficult and emotional, more than it needed to be, because it's not like I was moving from Afghanistan to United States, Canada. United States are nearby. I wasn't saying goodbye forever, uh, but a lot of things unfolded in a very and dramatic, but also everything is providential in a very revealing way. Um, but for that, I'll make another video. But going back to how it happened for me, it could have never happened any easier for me to get a green card. You can either uh, do it by investment, and I believe it's about a 1 million if you're investing in a rural area. At least this is how it has been a couple of years ago when I was looking into it, or 2 million if you're investing in a more urban area. Even if I had won, let's say 1 or 2 million, I wouldn't have spent it on a green card because you need to have an extra couple million to spend it on a green card. I would have spent it on a real estate investment probably, or some kind of other investment. Another way to get a green card is to get an employment sponsorship. And I didn't see an available option for me. I had an education, I had experience, but I didn't see there would be how would any employer need. I didn't have such unique skills that an employer would need to go through a hassle of sponsoring me from Canada. And I didn't have connections that somebody would want to do that for me, and I didn't really want to look for any connections. I just wanted an easy way. And another way would be is to get married through a marriage. And interestingly, I was single at that time, and years leading to that event, I met uh, I met men from the United States that I thought they were interesting, but not interesting enough to jump into a relationship with somebody from a different country. Had they lived nearby, maybe I'd be interested in getting to know them better. But actually, the distance, even though I didn't want to live in the United States, but for me to to move for a man, I really need to be certain that our relationship will take a positive turn, and I wasn't. But I was living in Canada for a long time, but meeting people from US have increased in the last 5 years. So I think this were signs from the from this were signs from the spirit world to help me to direct me a little bit, to start thinking about in that direction. There was really no easier and less costly way for me to move to United States than winning a green card lottery. It was completely independent from anybody. I only had to pay for logistics, for applications, for actual green card, and it was very affordable. I was so thankful. Even during my interview in Montreal, everything there was it, the way things were unfolding. It was like I was really watching a movie. It may not seem like a big deal to you if you're living in the United States, if you don't want to move into the United States, but it was a very emotional period in my life, and I didn't have anybody to help me. I didn't feel like I had a lot of throughout my life. I didn't really feel like I have a lot of people that had my back, who protected my interests and helped me. Um, it's usually it's normally it's your family. I didn't have that support, and here it was so divinely orchestrated. It was so divinely orchestrated, and look how I when I packed my bags, I did it on faith. My inner self told me, Marina, it's time. It's time for you to go. You don't know where you're going, but you have to have uh, but you have to go. So I went on faith. I trusted. I trusted my higher self to guide me, to lead me. I, I dreamt, I visualized, uh, and I surrendered. I surrendered to where I would be going. I surrendered to uh, where the divine providence would lead me to. I said, I like this, I like that. This is who I am. This is who I've become. This is what I like. Please lead me. And of course, United States, not things are not perfect in the United States. They are not perfect anywhere. And just getting to the United States is it's just the beginning. Of course, um, this is not it. But this was divinely orchestrated, was providential, divinely orchestrated, and you can apply the same things to get things that you want. I was acting on faith. I was genuine. Move was realistic. Uh, it didn't have to be realistic. Of course, we can manifest things that don't seem probable or realistic, and people manifest, and I have manifested things that are also improbable and unrealistic. But with this green card, I it was still a big thing in my life. Moving after 20 years, having trying to establish, I built so much in Canada. I've tried so hard. The energy, my energy output was significant. And for me to make the decision, I had to really surrender to divine providence, to say, I have to detach. It's not working for me. It's not working for me. I detached, I let go, I packed my bags, I surrendered, and it has delivered for me in the most beautiful way, and I was so thankful. And when you immigrate and everything is finalized, you what happens is you get a visa, and you have a 6 month window when you can enter the country. So once you actually cross the border, this it happens, and you get a green card in the mail, then get mailed to you to United States address. And crossing the border was magical. Um, I ended up missing because they were checking my bags, and I didn't know there would be a process at the border that takes so much time. They didn't let me check in early enough, but by the time the help happened, I I missed my flight, and then I got on another flight. But it's still I met a wonderful person who uh, shared that moment with me in flight. He was from Europe, but he was Canadian, and I shared the story with him. It was a beautiful moment, witnessed by by somebody. It was beautiful. completely divinely orchestrated. So these things happen all the time, and it's how the universe works. Only part of it that we're witnessing, that thing looks material, shaped by higher planes of reality. Okay, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope I didn't get too emotional. And please share, like, and subscribe, and come back for more.